Hello, Coach. Welcome to the Underdog Hoops podcast. You're going to see a great interview here. I hope you guys enjoy it. And if you haven't, go check out Underdog Hoops University, where you can get a 14-day free trial. Helps you kind of get your coaching repertoire in check. And it is a 14-day free trial. I hope you guys go check it out.
Welcome to Underdog Hoops, presented by great coaches in our basketball community. From the Underdog Hoops studio in Rancho Cucamonga, California, here is your host, Sam Farrar.
All right. So these first few questions are going to be introductory questions. So can you introduce yourself, walk us through your basketball coaching journey from 2014 till now?
Okay, so I'm Coach Dwan Knight. I coach at Charlotte Skill Factory here out of Charlotte. Started coaching back in 2014. I was playing up until 2014. I said I was like 31, and I took a bad fall, so that kind of was like letting me know like, all right, you need to transition to something else. And my son was getting of age for him to start playing sports, so I coached him in football first. I didn't coach him his first year in basketball. So the second year I coached basketball, and I haven't been nowhere since. It's been all basketball for me. I gave up football immediately. Like it was almost like instead of me being out there on the court, it's like playing a video game. I get to control the players, kind of, sort of, get to put the pieces where I feel, and just watch it. And I fell in love with it. So there's nothing else I'd rather be doing right now than coaching basketball.
Awesome. What led you to focus on middle school age AAU players? Kind of focus there.
That's kind of the age where either they're gonna find out, unless they're really elite at two different sports. Once you get to about to be the 6th, 7th, 8th grade, you already know basketball is what I want to do. So kids start to take it a little bit serious at that age because they know I'm preparing you for high school. Once you get once you 8th grade, you're going right to JV, and it's a totally different ball game. Coaches expect you already to be prepared to a certain extent. So I like catching them at their age, and just of course they're more open-minded. You meet less egos. You still have some egos, but if you catch them around 6th grade, they're still coachable to a certain degree. The immaturity takes a little part on it, but other than that, that's why I choose that age group.
Perfect. What do you enjoy most about working and developing those players at that stage of their life?
Seeing the progress in them. Like you can catch a kid, he's from the 5th grade, and then when you catch him in the 7th grade, his game has totally changed. And you can see the hard work because at that age, you'll meet kids that's naturally better. Like talent-wise, we were born as in me. I'm just naturally better. But then you get to see those kids that put in that hard work, and now the gap isn't as big as it used to be, or they're equal. So that's a fun age to watch them, and I like the development because you can see them turning the corner. You see the confidence start to spiral, and kids, they grow. How from 5th grade to 7th grade, kid can grow maybe a whole foot. Who knows? So so you get to see the development. I love watching development of kids.
That's very key in my coaching. When I look to develop kids, it's going to be, hey, we need to work on your dribbling. We need to work on obviously floor spacing. I think that's a really important part for them to teach or for coaches to teach, is that, because a lot of kids will run into each other because they are kind of not sure. So teaching them how to cut, when to cut, kind of those things, that's important.
Very much so.
So I like to see the progress. I had a lot of progress last year on my team. This team that I have this year is going to be struggling a little more than the last team that I coached. So
okay,
there's like a little more learning for these guys than I had last year. So
Mhm.
it'll be a kind of fun change, because that just means that, you got to start from a lower progress bar and move up.
That's it. That's it. And some of those teams are some of the funnest teams to coach, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
You know. So
Yeah. All right. So next we're going to talk about kind of man defense. So what are your key teaching points when introducing defense to your young players?
before we get out and work on any rotations or anything like that, I let them know we need to talk. Like talking is the key point for me. I'm really big on talking. I love a loud gym. I always tell my kids, if you walk into a team that's constantly winning, their gym is loud.
Hmm.
A loud gym, a quiet gym is normally a gym that's losing. Like, oh, we go in here, we're just gonna play the game. So communicate with each other. I don't like how just because I'm saying it, if you're not there, then you might as well not even say anything. Like your mind needs to match your movement with me.
Oh, yeah.
Active hands, learning, like I love to play the gap. I know the three ball is really big, but in middle school, it's rare that you're gonna see a kid coming down and just knocking down 50, 60% of his shots
Yep.
contested at that. Maybe wide open, you hit a few, but if a person is there, either he's not gonna shoot it or he's gonna hesitate at that age. So, closing out with a hand up. Yeah, and I'm real big on shell drills and everything like that. So, man to man, like I'm a defensive guy anyway. If you can't stop the ball, then you're
Hmm.
not gonna win games.
Yep. Exactly. I do a lot of shell. I do a lot of basic closeout stuff, because it really helps them kind of build that confidence. And then I got to break it down to them. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
you really got to break it down into bite-sized pieces for them. Um, that's kind of what I've learned over the year, like 2 or 3 years that I've kind of really focused on defenses. Hey, they're gonna have to listen to you just drill it into your head for a while.
Right, right.
So
And I try to let them know I'm like, yeah, I tell you to get in this position, but you don't know what the offense is going to do. I can't tell you they're going to catch it and then they're going to do this because you don't know. You
yeah,
get there and all you can do is try to force him the way you want them to go. Because the
ex-
offense has that split advantage where they know exactly what they want to do, and now you're on defensively. You can try to make them go the way you want them to be, but at the end of the day, it's almost a guessing game once you guess that first move.
exactly. Um, how do you hold players accountable on defense and when you're in man to man?
One messes up, we all run. That's the thing. Like, I mean, like it goes back to communication. I always have my kids like at the free throw line, we huddle up real quick. Either you discuss what's next defensively or you discuss what went wrong that defensive series now that you're on the free throw line. Like, hey, my bad, I didn't rotate. So all of my kids hold each other accountable. And
You
they know
know,
one mess up, then everybody got to pay the price. One team, one family. Like nobody's bigger than
yep,
the team.
yep.
So
What I like, especially if I get like other teams in the gym at the same time, it's already loud. So,
mhm.
hey, be louder than the person in the next court. Be
Yep.
louder than them.
Yep.
Like, I got to be able to hear you during a game. Imagine that's the stands. Just think of that as the stands, and like people are cheering. Okay, what do you like? How are you going to communicate with each other if it's
Exactly.
that loud?
Yep.
So it's those little tendencies that you got to teach them, especially the young players. You got to be like, hey,
Mhm.
like they can't hear you. Like they might not be able to hear you because other things are going on, and
Exactly.
so you got to be
Exactly.
loud. You got to be you you have to have a sense of urgency when you say this stuff, but you got to communicate well. You got to communicate with a purpose, not just communicate, just saying, "Oh, I got your help," and then don't have it. You got to be there, say that. You got to talk with your teammates while you're on the court.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
So that's um that's kind of my holding players accountable. Like, hey, this is the gym. You're gonna have loud, and then if there's no one in there and it's just me, then I'll just do like, hey, we're gonna listen. We're gonna put on some music. We might put on music that I like. We might put on music that you
Hmm.
guys like, and that's gonna be our way to like, hey, you guys got to communicate. So it's not a
Yep.
library situation.
Right. I tell them if it's a quiet gym, we need to be echoing.
Oh yeah,
It needs to
yep,
be loud, needs to be echoing, like it sounds like it's a packed gym, but it's just us in here.
yeah. I actually use that as one of my calls if like we're not talking is hey, or if they're not communicating well, you guys got to echo it.
Hmm. Yep.
Okay, because if one person hears it, hey, you got to tell the other people because they probably didn't hear it.
There you go. There you go. Yep.
So I like that. I kind of learned that at a coaching clinic this year, so that was fun.
Oh, okay. Okay.
uh, so what drills or progressions do you like to use to develop man-to-man concepts? I
Um,
know we kind of talked about shell, but
yeah, I do a lot of shell drill. I'm real big on live action. Of course I do a lot of closeout drills because a lot of kids today they do not know how to close out. Like,
oh yeah,
it gets frustrating, but I mean, I tell them you give yourself cushion. I tell them to measure themselves. So when you're closing out, you have a hand out, you measure yourself, somewhere where you get comfortable. So I do a lot of closeout drills, your basic defensive slides. And then I go whatever defense we're in. Say if I'm practicing a 1-2-2, we'll walk through it at first, then we go half speed, then we go full speed, and then we go live. So I kind of break it down that way because I know a lot of people like, hey, you teach it, go through it, and I go live. But I mean, it's a little different when you got people running in your way. For some reason, you're doing the same thing, but kids think, I got this person here. Let me do something different. And then it throws a wrench into everything. So, like, going over that defensive drill, we get the rotations down packed. And when I feel comfortable, then we're going to go live with it. I'm going to give y'all to up in this points. I'm going to keep my mistakes to myself. I'm just going to let y'all play. And at the end, we're going to tally it up and see if y'all account for the same mistakes as I do. Because if somebody make a mistake, like on the court, if somebody's supposed to rotate, they didn't. That's my bad. Or hey, man, you supposed to rotate. So
awesome. That's one of the ways that I keep track of like accountability and that stuff, and during that those defensive drills um and this is another thing that I learned at the coaching clinic, but like I use a sticky note system. So I have a bunch of sticky notes and then hey, you're not communicating. Okay, put a sticky note there.
mm,
That way at the end of practice, hey, we're going to be doing something for our sticky notes. So we're going to have like a bunch of them on the sideline and they're going to see, hey, eventually they're going to know that they're in control of these sticky notes being placed on like a wall or a scoreboard or
right.
whatever you have. Um, but I kind of have implemented that and it's kind of effective because they're like, like we need to do better. Like
They
they're
they
trying to
get
get,
they get to see it. They get to
yeah.
see it, outside of watching film. But I mean, there's nothing better than watching film, of course, because you actually get to
Oh
see
yeah.
your movement. But in practices, a lot of like, especially with AAU, you don't record any practices.
Hmm.
So kids, you could tell them, but they like what? But if you like have like a sticky note, like you said, or you break down everything and everybody's telling you the same thing, oh maybe I did do that,
Yep.
So, but yeah, the sticky note thing, I like that. That's a good
So
touch right there.
it's a visual representation,
Right,
and
right.
I think it was I don't know if you know who Molly Miller is, but that's like Arizona. She was a GCU head coach, but now she's at like Arizona.
Okay.
Um, but she implemented that, and she's like doing really good in her practices and games, and she's pretty elite coach. So that I kind of took that from her. So um, all right, so 2-3 zone. We're gonna go into that.
Okay.
When do you decide to use 2-3 zone instead of man?
Well, I go 2-3 zone for a couple different reasons. Now, one reason, of course, is like if we're up big, there's no need for me to keep continuing to press the team. I just fall back and because I'm real big and not crushing kids' confidence, even if they are playing for the other team. If I'm up 30 points, what's the difference between winning by 30 and winning by 50? It don't you don't learn anything that way. So allow the other kids to get better too. Now, I ain't gonna say if it's a 15-point game, I'm just gonna call the dogs off. I need to be up by
No, yeah.
a large amount. Um, another reason, if depending on my personnel, if we're going up against a team and say they start 5 guards, I know man to man we're gonna get beat somewhere. So let me see if this team can shoot first. Now, if they struggle shooting, then we're gonna do what we have to do. Now, and that goes again if it's on another level. Now we're at like a major tournament, like if we have like ball on the beach where you're going in there to win, then yeah, I'm gonna run this 2-3 zone because I feel like this is the best chance I have to win. Now, we're the development team, and I'm not gonna stay in a 2-3 zone the whole game because that's hindering their development. I feel like. I feel like there's nothing wrong with the zone, but if you just keep your kids in the zone the whole game, and this is a developmental team that you're trying to develop, that's not helping them at all.
Of course.
But yeah, those are the only reasons I really use the 2-3 to see if the team can shoot. Sometime I may trap. I want to kind of speed them up, so I extend my 2-3 more to probably catch them at half court. Just to catch them and make them quick decisions because kids really know how to make quick decisions on a dime when you got 2 kids running at you at the same time.
Yep.
Those that do, those are probably your elite kids. They're probably a little bit high on a totem pole. So yeah, so those are normal times I normally run like a 2-3 zone or something like that.
Okay. All right. So what is your biggest misconceptions of coaches about running a zone defense? What do you think about that?
That it's lazy defense. Like, if you haven't played in a 2-3 zone, like an active 2-3 zone, then you'll never know how much ground you really have to cover. You're constantly moving, and you have to really understand rotations as well. Because I've seen some zones where, like a matchup zone, but you have to get from here, you got to get from there. You still have to talk, you still have to know gaps. So, and also, like, I hear a lot of coaches complaining about 2-3 zone, but I've also seen in the NBA, Miami Heat win zone against the Boston Celtics, and they struggle against a zone. And these are your best players in the world. So why don't you know how to beat a zone? You get what I'm saying? So if you know how to run a zone, I feel like that'll help your team understand more how to beat a zone.
Yep, exactly. Well, it's interesting in the NBA. They don't like you hardly ever see anyone run a zone. So it's like when they see it, they're like, "Oh wait, what do we do now?"
Exactly.
And it's like, okay, well, you should have like an offense in place. Like they don't do that, but and they'll just sit someone at the top of the free throw line, and try to get in the ball.
Just keep it there. Yeah.
Yep. But what I've learned to kind of beat a zone, you got to move, you got to gap
Ball
the
movement.
zone,
Yes.
ball movement, gap the
Yes.
zone, attack the zone kind of in certain areas. Especially if they're packed in, I would do a bunch of ball screens because if they're packed in, that means that they want you to shoot outside. They want you to shoot those threes. So often I'll tell my guys, hey, if they're packing it in, you'll run this offense. If they're not, you're going to run a different offense because it'll just work better for getting in tight, getting those close screens and rolling off of them. And then the roller can box out or seal his defender and get the layups. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of I don't like to put it in right now, but as I gradually put it in, you know, I tell my players, hey, like, these are the things you got to look for within the zone. The middle is always going to be open.
Mm-hmm.
As long as they're not taking it away. But there's other spots that are open too. So if we get to the middle, it's pretty much killed at that point. But
Right.
if they have great middle coverage, you got to look to getting it down in the short corner. You got to look at getting it to the wings and just move the ball around. But if you let them stay in one spot, it's not going to work.
Exactly. You still got to have cuts and ball movements against the zone. Like you got to make the zone work. That's what my coaches used to call it. So you got to make the zone work. Like if a zone's just set, it's hard to attack a set zone. It's hard to attack a set zone.
Yeah. How do you make sure your players stay active and don't hide in the 2-3 zone?
Like I said, most of my 2-3 zones are extended. So there's really no hiding. If when the guy first catches the ball, we're normally in the matchup zone. So it's normally going to be you and him, and you have somebody help side. You know, if you constantly getting beat, like if you're on the wing, you constantly getting beat baseline, it's going to show. There ain't going to be no hiding. Like I can't put you nowhere else. So I tell my kids, if you can't play defense, then you can't play. That's just how I am. Like I get it. You can score 25 on the other end, but if you're giving up 30, then what's the point?
Exactly.
So
absolutely. So I'll just kind of go off topic real quick because we were talking about a matchup zone earlier. But like I had a matchup 1-3-1, and man, it was like the most lethal thing because people would be like, "What are they in?" Like it looked like a man. It looked like a 1-3-1. They're like, "What is it?" Like it sometimes go morph into a 3-2, and they'd be like, "What is that? Like, how do we?"
Yep.
They're like they were all confused, and that's how I won a lot of games because it was
Right.
last year is because they know that they understood
Exactly.
man enough where if this happens, hey, we still got to communicate. This is a very complex defense, and they understood it to a level that you know I was actually surprised. Like we were in games. There were many games where like I felt that the matchup zone was not working, but there were plenty of them where I was just like, man, they do not know what to do with this. Like they are struggling. The other team is just struggling. So just I find different ways to use it. But like this team that I have right now, probably not going to be able to do that because they don't understand man-to-man principles enough
Right.
to escalate and do that. So it'll probably take me till mid-year. I'll probably throw it in at the beginning of the year, and they'll have to learn
Gradually.
how to. Yeah, but it'll take a lot of skill development for them to understand that matchup zone part. All right. So pressing and pressure defense. So what's your philosophy when it comes to full court and half court pressing?
I don't like I said, when pressing for me, it depends on my personnel. The team that I recently had last year, we wasn't a pressing team because we wasn't fast on the back end. You know, I didn't have enough speed to cover everything. I can cover the front, but my back end was slow. So I couldn't move my back end up front because they get beat, you know. But when I do have a pressing team, you know, I mean, pressing, I think pressing is good, but it kind of, if that's all your kids know, because I've run into a lot of teams that if you beat the press, they don't know what else to do. They don't really practice half court defense. They don't really practice zone defense. It's like the press is what they do to beat teams.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like a lot of coaches, they live and die by a press on defense. And when you get a team that chops through your press, then what do? The press ain't working. And now you stay over there, you look confused. You try to stay in it, but I'm like, now you're down by too much. So like
Exactly.
I press, but it's sparingly. It's in situations. You know what I'm saying? Made free throws, I may hop into a press. You know, we score right off the rip. We score the first 2 points of the game. Then yeah, we may press to get the tempo to get everything going. But as far as like standing to press the whole game, I don't do that.
Yeah. So there's a lot of teams around me that will press, but their personnel is pretty much all athleticism and nothing
Mm-hmm.
else.
Yep.
So they're going to have to press. There are teams in my league that will press, and they're they don't know how to run half court offense. They only know how to
That's another
get
thing.
a steal and a layup.
That's another thing that they try to hide because the half court offense may suck. So we have to
Yep.
get these easy layups. So if you slow us down, it's like, okay, what do we do now? We're not getting layups. How do we now it turns into a one-on-one game, which we'll get to that later because that's why I feel like the state of the game has been there for a long time and it makes for bad basketball for real. That's just my opinion on that.
Oh yeah. I if everyone's not working together, if we're not like cutting, we're not working hard enough, um, there are certain scenarios where like I'll tell my guys, hey, if it's a man press and you're one on one with someone, just go ahead and beat him. Just rip through and
Yep.
go.
And just make the
I
right
don't
basketball play. Somebody got to help you. It's
yeah. If
simple.
they stop you, find someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And then like obviously if um we stop short of the like while we're bringing the ball up, we'll give it to someone else. They can bring the ball up. Okay. We need movement. We need to attack the defense. But all that, like pressure, it's hard to like show them like, hey, this is what to expect because you don't know. But you
Mm-hmm.
can try to prepare them as well as you can with the personnel that you have, kind
Right.
of giving them that pressure. Sometimes I'll do a drill with 6 guys, and I'm gonna be
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, you're gonna have to break the pressure with 6 guys on defense. And there's they're like, what the heck? Like that's not
Yeah.
fair. I'm like, well, do you want to make it harder for yourself and like learn how to handle the pressure?
Yep.
So
Yep.
I try to tell them that, but they're like, oh, like we don't like that coach.
Yeah. What I did with my kids this year because we were not as athletic as we normally were the last year when they were fifth grade. So because we lost a couple key pieces, but we would go over our press break, but everybody would only have 2 dribbles. You catch the ball
There you
one,
go.
two, and you got it because you can't dribble. I'm telling them all you like you cannot dribble through a press unless you have Kyrie
Hmm.
Irving handles and you can dribble through 5 people. You're gonna make more turnovers than good plays. So
Exactly.
you pass through a press, and once you get to that back line, it's it's hard for me to get kids to attack the basket. Everybody wants to fade to the 3-point line. Everybody wants to fade,
Hmm.
kick, hit the three. But I'm like, get the layup. The more layups
It'll
you
lay up.
get, the more open threes you will get. Like you play inside out. The game has always been taught you go inside out, not outside in. So, but yeah, you got to pass through a press. Got to pass through a press.
Okay, so how do you teach players to press with purpose, not just running around?
I teach them to press just like I teach them to play half court man to man defense. Except we just extended it. Now you just got to really get to your spot because now you're not just playing half the court, you're playing the whole court. Same rotations, take the same angles, same communication. Nothing changes, except now we just extended it out a little bit. You know, like you really got to talk. And I tell my kids, if you think you can, like if a pass is coming, if you think you can get it, you don't go. I don't need you thinking. I need you to be 100% sure with that pass in the air. Oh, I got this. That's what I need. Because the moment you have to think, it's a split second that you take away from reacting. So if you have to think about it, don't even go. Just be honest. Just play honest. Because a lot of teams will turn the ball over anyway if you play honest defense. If you play on this defense, they're gonna give it to you anyway. So yeah, so I teach them the same way I teach half court defense.
There are some kids that I've had that I had last year. They were super good at defense. Like I could tell them to do something and they would. But they would gamble like
Mm-hmm.
crazy.
Yep.
And I just have to be like, hey, just sit back for a second. When you are in a man-to-man, or if you'll pounce on them, just pounce on them. Like, let them catch the ball, then go after them.
Yep.
They think that they're comfortable, make them uncomfortable right away.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I tell them, I was like, also, when you gamble like that, that's a selfish play. Because if you miss it, you leave your teammates out to dry. Now they got numbers going the other way because you decided to take a gamble instead of playing your team defense. Like, this is your job. We need you to do this when the ball comes here so everybody else can do that. You know, if you don't do this, now it throws everything out of whack.
Of course. All right. So what are your go-to press drills or setups for your middle school players?
Of course, everybody runs a diamond. Like, you got the fast personnel, everybody runs a diamond full court press. But I like 2-2-1. I'm a real big 2-2-1 guy, because I get everybody wants to press and everybody wants to get it now. But at the end of the day, you only got 10 seconds across that line. Even if you don't get the steal and they get a 10-second call, that's a turnover. So make them think. Get it? Yeah. So the first person get it. Yeah, we're matching up man to man, but it's not. I'm not sending two people at you. I got everybody in the gap. So the pass that you make, you're gonna have to make a precision pass. You're gonna have to worry about getting a good pass over somebody's in the passing lane while protecting the ball while somebody's pressuring the ball. And a lot of kids that get it, and like you said, man to man, just beat your guy. But if you don't recognize what they're in, you run right into a trap.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I kind of let other teams shoot themselves in the foot most of the time when I do a 2-2-1.
Yep, exactly. I see a lot of 2-2-1 when I play or when I coach my kids. It's on those ones I try to teach them how to break it. And there's no one really guarding the middle. You gotta, or they'll pinch, or they'll give up the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's better to pass through it than
Dribble.
to dribble right through it.
Yep.
So, but they still dribble through right through it. So it's like that constant, like, hey, I told you, pass through it.
Because it may look like they're giving you the sideline, but that's what they are giving you for a reason.
I often tell them, like, hey, you got to reverse the ball. Then you might be able to get it up the floor, but you got to look. You can't have your head down. You can't not look at the play.
Exactly.
So you got to see it. It's going to be different every time, but you can find an opening because there's always someone rotating or moving, or
you just got to find it.
Yeah.
You just got to be patient enough. A lot of kids, as soon as they catch it, they catch it, the head down, go down, and they dribble. They right up the court.
Mm-hmm.
Take a split second, catch, turn. And the way you're pivoting, you're surveying the court anyway.
Yeah.
And I tell them in the press, just read the second guy, the middle guy. If he's dropping low, then that middle is going to be open. If he shades middle, then the ball reversal is going to be there. But you have to swing the ball. You have to swing the ball. Every successful press break I've seen kids do, the ball ends up from one side of the court to the other. You got to swing the ball. Got to swing the ball.
What another coach that I worked with one time, he always would say, hey, this is a layup drill. You could get pass layup and make the layup, and then we'd be in our press.
Yep.
And then they're kind of like, okay, we got to get out of our press now because they can't handle it. Now
that's no better feeling. There's no better feeling as a coach, as a player, when you see a team have to pull back the pressure. That means they can't. It's not working. Now they got to figure something else out. Yep.
All right. So culture and program standards. how do you build team culture in the setting of AAU where rosters often change?
I set my expectations right from jump. Before we even walk in the gym, before we throw a ball up, like I give you my expectations from the parents to the players. Now, as my players, we're gonna play hard. We're gonna play hard. We're gonna play till the whistle blows. Like that's just it. We don't give up because I've seen too many comebacks happen. So the game is never really over. It's never
Hmm.
really over. You compete, you compete, you compete, you compete to get better. If this is what you want to do, you got to learn to take the wins with the losses sometime. But a coach over here, we're going to be tough. I don't like the label being soft. I don't like that label, because kids feel like you could get bullied on the court. We're going to be tough, but we're going to be clean. We're not a dirty team, but I will expect for you to give me everything you got every time you step on the court. It may be times where shots may not fall, but your defense should never falter. Defense always travels.
Exactly. You're
So,
gonna have those teams where they're gonna be dirty. I had a few
hmm
last year.
yep.
And one of them, one of my players, and I saw this on film after, and I was so pissed. I was so mad at this. But it was um, when I look back at the film, he had like my player was on the floor. Well, he like goes up and like kicks him. I'm and I saw it like in front of me, and the ref didn't call anything, and I was just like barking at the ref.
Mm.
But like that was like the most poorly ref game I think I've ever been a part of. But um, it you try, and then I called timeout and was like, "Hey guys, I don't care what they're trying to do to you. Let's go out and win." We ended up winning in double overtime, and so that
hmm
was our they got tired, we didn't
Yep.
moment. So
Yep. And some teams, that's what if they resort down to stuff like that, like you said, that great timeout. Because your kids, if they look at you as a coach and see you're in your feelings and you're starting to lose control, they're gonna do the same thing on the court. But
exactly.
coach is calm. Coach like, hey, don't worry about it. Maybe I shouldn't worry about it. If coach ain't upset, I shouldn't be upset about it.
And I was
So
upset. I and then one of my players is like, "Hey, coach, hold on." Like, you know, and what my assistant coach is like, "Hey, um, like let's rein them in a little bit." So like, "Hey, call that timeout." Boom. Let's rein
hmm
them in. Um, let's play tougher than them. Let's get more fouls. Let's go to the basket more. Okay. That's a lot of how I was like, "Hey, my standard is to be tougher than the other team."
yeah, yeah, yeah. Feel like we need to be first in everything.
Hmm.
First to the ball, first on the floor, first everything.
Yeah, I actually think that play, like he was diving on the floor for a loose ball. He like fell on his head,
Mm.
and then yeah, they didn't see it, and then yeah, but I just told them, guys, they're not going to see everything. They're human.
hmm
So I might bark at them for a second. That doesn't give you permission to bark at them because I don't
Eh,
want you to get a tech. I can get a tech, and
exactly.
other yeah, tech. One tech for me is enough.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
be done.
yep, yep. And I just tell them, you got one job. All you gotta do is go out there and play basketball. You don't have to let me worry about the score, how many timeouts, the referee. Let me worry about all that stuff. I just need you to go out there and just perform. Just give me everything you got. You got one job to do. You barking at the refs, that's something that I didn't ask you to do. So now, more than likely, you're probably gonna end up on the bench till you cool off. Because 90% of
Hmm.
kids can't play when they're upset.
Yep,
You got
exactly.
some that can, but it's very few that know how to
Yeah,
play when they're upset.
exactly. So that's kind of something that I teach in my culture too. Is like, hey, your role is to play. Your role is to just have fun.
hmm Yep.
Because if you're not having fun, why are you here?
Exactly, because it's a game. Basketball is a game at the end of the day.
Like, yeah, you can be mad that you lost. You can be mad that you didn't get that play. Hey, go get the next one. I don't care.
Yep.
I try to tell my kids, like, I don't care. Like, you guys just got to work hard. If you work hard, I'll leave you in the game.
That a lot of kids think that they make a mistake, that's the end of the world.
Yeah.
Like you miss a shot, it's the end of the world. Like I tell my kids, every shot you take is your first shot. That's how fast your memory got to get. Whether you make it or not, I don't care if you make 3 in a row. You got to get that out your head. You focus on the next shot. It's always the next play. Because it's not like football where you get a pause and you can think. Basketball, within one football play, 5 or 6 basketball plays can happen.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're worried about a play that happened 5, 6 plays ago, now you didn't took off plays.
Yep.
So,
all right.
Hello, Coach. Thank you for watching the podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember, go check out Underdog Hoops University. Get a 14-day free trial. It's $14.99 after that. As of right now, it may be higher as you're watching it later. But go check it out. And we'll see you guys on the next episode.